Hello and welcome to the video for 6th grade for Thursday, April the 23rd. This is going to cover our lesson working with finding the volume of shapes when we are using units that we can measure with fractions, specifically halves. So we're working with fractions related to volume. Again, the first example, and I think all of the examples we will be working with for this will be half units. So let's talk about a couple of things. So first of all, volume is going to be the inside of a shape. So I have several shapes around. If I wanted to find the volume inside this glass, we would do a slightly different thing. But for finding a box, um, whether it's a rectangular prism, like what we're going to do for our unlock the problem, or a different shape, we can do several different things to find the volume or the amount of space inside that shape. So to start with, they gave us this activity. I'm not able to do the full net thing, so I'm going to kind of explain what's going on with the way that I've drawn it over here. So we have 3.5 units wide, or excuse me, 3.5 units long, 1.5 units wide, and a height of 2 units. So if you look at a picture in the book, um, each block that we're using is going to be 1/2 of a unit. And so we could fit, um, excuse me, 4 of those to get half of the unit block filled up, and then another 4 stacked on top right here to finish that. So we would use 8 for each one full unit cube. And so each smaller cube is going to represent 1/8. And so as we go through this, what I did was I took, and I'm making each of these boxes a half cube. So 3.5 units this way will give me 1, 2, 3.5. 1.5 would give me 3. And so I'm going to have a total of 3 times 7, which would be 21 blocks at the half unit high mark. And then I could do this 3 more times. So my first one gives me 1/2, my second one would give me 1, my third one would give me 1.5, and my last one would give me the height of 2, which is what I'm going to need. So I'm going to have to do 21 times 4 to get 84 blocks, and that is going to be the number of cubes that I need to fill up the shape. And then we are going to go from there. So we are going to use this, which is going to be 84 divided by 8. And that's going to give us the total volume inside the shape. So I can already know that I'm going to have 10 for my whole number, and I'm going to have 4/8 left over, which is going to give me 10 and 1/2 units. And so the volume of the jewelry box is going to be 10 and 1/2 units. Now the next page, I don't recall if I actually left it in your packets or not. So if I took this out, please go ahead and follow along. I want to talk about this part first, and then we are going to do a formula version of this that we can apply for anything that we're working with. So the first part says, can you use the method of packing cubes to find the volume of a triangular prism? So think about that for a second. We've got a picture, we have a triangular shaped prism, and we have a square cube inside. So when we were younger, we had little different toys or different manipulative sets, if you want to call them that, where you can put different shaped blocks and try to fit them into different shaped holes, or see if you can fill them up with different shaped blocks. So if I were to take a square box and try to put marbles inside of it, would I fill the whole box, or would there be space? So hopefully the answer is there will be space because we're going to have circular marbles and they are not going to all meet. So inside a rectangular prism, this type of box could probably work, or block, excuse me, inside. But for this particular shape, that is not going to work. But we can still find what the exact volume of this is. Now we could apply this for something else, but we're going to use a rectangular prism for the example here. There's a way that we can find a triangular prism as well. So we are going to do volume is equal to the length times the width times the height. So going back to the original problem, what they want us to do is go ahead and, excuse me, we're going to use the same things. So we're going to do 3.5 times 1.5 times 2. And so that's going to be our first spot. Second spot, we are going to convert these. So 2 times 3 gives me 6, plus 1 gives me 7. So we are going to have 7 halves times 3 halves times 2. And so if I go ahead and multiply across, this will technically become 2 over 1. And so I'm going to have a 2 on the bottom. And then I'm going to have 21 times 2 is 42. I'm sorry, this part should be 4. And so I'm going to have 10 and a half, which reduces down, 10 and 2/4, which reduces to 10 and 1/2. So now, I don't think I gave you guys number 5. If I did and I don't do it, then I will go ahead and add that back in a comment for you. But in the interest of time, so that we can get these done, I will go ahead and probably leave out number 5 for the moment. I will tell you that you can guess yes or no just by doing a quick look at this without finding the exact answer. So number 1, we have 38 cubes with a side length of 1/2 unit, the volume of the prism. So we are going to do this 38 divided by 8 again. And so we can do 4, and that would get me to 32. We have 6 parts over 8 left. And so 4 3/4 cubic units. Number 3, we can do the same kind of thing we did before. So I'm going to draw the picture again out to the side. I'm going to actually kind of take over this whole area here, and then I'll write the answer out here. So let's say that we are going to, actually we could do our height as 3, and then we'll do 5.5 by 2. So I'm going to do 10, 11 blocks going this way. And some of you may not need to do this part. I'm sitting here thinking as I'm drawing it in. I'm going to kind of just give the outline or the shell. So we're going to have 4 units going this way. So 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2. And then I can do 11 times 4, which is 44, and then multiply that by 3. So 44 times 3, gives me 132. I can do 132 divided by 8. And we'll pretend that 3 is not there right now. And so we are going to have 16 4/8 or 16 1/2 for the volume of that. So that gives you an idea. When we're working with this kind of idea, hopefully you'll be able to convert it to something that you can do in your head. If not, I would recommend doing the picture. It takes a little bit of time, but I think it can be beneficial to go ahead and try that to see how it works. So I'm already kind of at the almost 11-minute mark. I don't process quite as quickly in the middle of the night as I do when I'm recording earlier in the day. I don't have any caffeine to keep me alive and kicking. So hopefully this makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to post in the comments. If I left off number 5, please let me know, and I will kind of explain to you what you're looking for that. So again, I think you can answer that one just by doing a quick run through of the numbers and figuring out whether or not it would actually equal that exact amount or not, or give you enough room to be able to plant the plants that they're talking about in that. So hope you have a great day, and again, ask any questions if you need to, and I will see you tomorrow.